Friends, the story begins in the year 1997 when a boy named Jin opens his eyes in a car. Every now and then, Jin stays with his mother, his father, and his elder brother Yusuf. Then we come to know that all these people are shifting to a new house. When they reach their new house, Jin finds this house familiar, whereas he had never seen this house before. He feels as if he has seen this house in his past. Then we are told that Jin's brother Yusuf was always the topper of his class. He had also completed his graduation from a top university. He was perfect in sports as well. This made him very popular among girls. Yusuf was not addicted to any kind of drugs. On the other hand, Jin was an average kid. He often used to have mental breakdowns. He had to take medicines every day. Jin thinks that if he can be proud of anything in his life, then it is only because of his brother Yusuf. A year ago, Yusuf's leg broke in a car accident, because of which he is limping now. Jin and Yusuf will have to live in the same room now, because the previous owner had not vacated that small room where Yusuf was going to stay. At dinner time, Jin hears some noise from the small room upstairs, but his family refuses to hear such a noise. Later that night, Jin hears a loud noise in that room again. Then he goes ahead to investigate, but before he can go inside, his brother Yusuf stops him. Yusuf takes his younger brother out for a walk in the rain. Both the brothers go to the top of a mountain nearby. When they are enjoying the weather, Yusuf gets a call from his father. He calls him home as soon as possible, because of which he has to leave Jin alone on the mountain. While returning home, some goons surround Yusuf from all sides and try to kidnap him. Yusuf answers them with a punch, and that's when Jin sees this fight. Jin tries his best to save his brother, but the goons manage to take Yusuf away. The frightened Jin returns home, and to get out of the mental stress, he first tells his parents about this incident. Then Jin sees a dream in which he was being interrogated. Suddenly, Jin wakes up and finds himself next to his parents. In the next scene, Jin talks to the detective and tells him the number of the kidnapper's van. However, the detectives tell him that there is no such number. Many days pass by like this, but the family doesn't get any call for ransom. One day, Jin hears the same voice from that small room, and he sees the dream of being interrogated again. Suddenly, on the 19th day, Yusuf returns home safely. Although he didn't remember any incident from the last 19 days, the doctors believe that this is a forgetfulness disorder, and the family can only do one thing, and that is to wait. That night, Jin sees Yusuf leaving the house. The next day, a reasonable Jin forgets to take his medicine. During breakfast, Jin asks Yusuf where he went last night. Yusuf refuses to go out. When Yusuf goes out, Jin finds it strange, because Yusuf was limping from his right leg instead of his left leg. Tonight, Jin goes to sleep on his study table, and taking advantage of this, Yusuf gets ready to go out again. This time, Yusuf makes sure that Jin is in deep sleep or not. Yusuf takes out a pencil lead from Jin's eye, and he doesn't stop until the pencil lead falls down. After Yusuf leaves, we find out that Jin is awake, and he starts following his elder brother in the taxi. The car leaves Yusuf in a market, where he carries a cigarette in his mouth and keeps moving forward. Jin sees Yusuf talking to two men, and he understands that they are the same detectives who had come to his house to interrogate him. Jin is caught quickly, and Yusuf follows him and makes him unconscious. The next day, Jin gets up on his study table. Jin gets scared when he sees Yusuf on the bed. He quickly locks himself in the bathroom. Then Yusuf asks Jin, "Why did you lock yourself in the bathroom?" So Jin tells him everything about last night, on which Yusuf says to him, "Have you had a dream again?" However, Jin says loudly, "I am in my senses, and I know what I am doing." When Yusuf stops answering him, Jin quietly takes an aluminium pipe and comes out of the bathroom. However, soon Yusuf attacks him and tries to calm him down. Yusuf tells him that from the pencil to the taxi, whatever you are saying, nothing of that sort has happened. Then Yusuf asks Jin, "Did you take your medicine yesterday?" Hearing this, Jin calms down, because he remembers that he didn't take his medicine yesterday. Then Jin takes his medicine, and Yusuf goes out again. After Yusuf goes out, Jin goes to his study table to study. That's when he sees a broken pencil there. Now Jin is convinced that Yusuf was lying to him. Jin tells his mother about everything again, on which his mother says to him, "I will definitely talk to your father about this." But Jin says, "We should gather more evidence." However, later that night, Jin quietly listens to his mother talking to Yusuf about him. Now Jin comes to know that this is not his real family, and these people are just pretending to be his family. That's when Jin's mother realizes that Jin is outside. Then she goes to Jin's room to check, but Jin somehow manages to come back to his bed at the right time. After his mother leaves, Jin jumps out of the window and leaves the house, and during this process he also gets hurt. That's when he meets his fake father outside, and in a while, Jin's mother also comes out. When Jin's father tries to stop him, Jin pushes him away and runs away. Jin's mother quickly sends a goon after him, but Jin somehow reaches the police station, and he manages to get rid of that goon. Then Jin tells the police everything, and he writes his name in the police database. He says that Jin was born in 1977, and he is 41 years old. However, when Jin says that he is 21 years old, a police officer asks him to tell which year it is, and Jin replies that it's 1997. But the officer reveals that it's not 1997, but 2017. Jin is shocked to hear this and looks around. That's when he sees a mobile phone in some boy's hands. He also sees a news on TV in which South Korean President Moon Jae-in and American President Donald Trump are seen together. And when Jin looks at himself himself in the mirror. He feels that he is really 41 years old. Confused, Jin returns home to face his fake family. He hears the sound of a radio from that small room, which was now turned into a crime scene. That's when Jin's family comes in front of him, and the boy who pretends to be his brother tells Jin that in the room where he is standing, a teenage girl and her mother were murdered 20 years ago. When the police failed to catch the murderer for many years, the matter calmed down. That's why the victim's family hired a fake Yusuf. After some investigation, Jin was identified as the murderer. The scene shifts to a flashback from here, where we are shown that to accept the murder, Jin was kidnapped and beaten up badly. But Jin kept his innocence intact. Psychiatrist Park Aka, Jin's fake father, tells the investigation team that Jin has lost his memory because this incident was very painful. The investigation team tells psychiatrist Park that Jin should be hypnotized and sent back to 1997 because they hoped that if Jin would see those murders again, he might regain his memory and he could tell them what happened that day. Everything was going according to the plan here, but that night Jin saw Yusuf being kidnapped. Actually, Yusuf was arrested in the case of fraud and he was missing for 19 days because he was in jail at that time. But after 19 days, he was released on bail. That's when it becomes clear that the voice coming from that small room was not of anyone else, but of those investigating officers who were working there. Now the story comes back to the present. Yusuf was taking Jin to a place where he had to pay the price for the death of those two innocent people. Jin keeps his innocence intact and jumps out of the van. Yusuf follows him, but in the end, his car collides with a tree. On the other hand, a strange truck collides with Jin, and he regains his memory of 1997. The scene shifts from here, and we are shown the initial scene of the film in 1997. At that time, Jin was with his real parents and his elder brother Yusuf. Suddenly, his parents die in a car accident, and his elder brother Yusuf is badly injured. To get Yusuf's surgery done, Jin needed a lot of money, but due to the 1997 crisis, it was a very difficult time. Jin goes online in search of a job where an unknown person messages him that if he kills someone's wife, then he promises to give him the money he asks for. But Jin has to leave the other two children in the house completely safe. After reaching the house, Jin's soul does not allow him to complete this task. He was about to leave from here, but then both the mother and daughter see Jin and start screaming loudly. Jin gets scared and kills both the mother and daughter in a hurry. Then a small child comes out and sees Jin, but Jin asks him to go back to his room. As soon as Jin comes out of the house, he finds out that this is the same doctor's family who was treating his brother Yusuf. Now Jin meets that unknown man who was actually his brother's doctor, and now Jin tries to find out why this doctor wanted to kill his own family. Then the doctor tells him that the lack of money had corrupted his bank, and to save his children from being homeless, he had taken many insurance policies. Now that Jin had not only killed his wife, but also his daughter, the doctor tells him that now his brother Yusuf will also be killed. With this, a fight starts between the two of them, and then by mistake, Jin pushes the doctor down from the terrace, and the doctor also dies. Then the film returns to present, and Jin finds himself in a hospital. The boy who was taking Jin in the van had somehow escaped in that accident, and he tries to poison Jin and kill him, but then Jin tells him that his memory has come back. Then that boy reveals that he is the same little boy who Jin had left 20 years ago after killing his mother and sister. After his parents and his sister passed away, his relatives had taken all his money and had left it to grow up in an orphanage. He asked Jin, "Why didn't you kill me that day? I wish you had killed me that day so that I wouldn't have to see this day." And he asks Jin, did his father plan those murders, on which Jin lies to him and takes full responsibility for himself. But that boy doesn't believe him. Now, since Jin realizes that he had actually killed an innocent family, he injects himself with a poisonous needle, which leads to his death. On the other hand, that boy also finds out about the real murderer of his family. That's why he jumps out of the hospital window and commits suicide